Welcome to another episode of A Bit of Light Relief. This is about the Curve Group giving back to the business community, discussing HR topics and giving our little bit of light relief on quite serious subjects that can be really quite serious at times. Today we have with us the absolutely gorgeous David Woodshill, and I'm Jeanette Ramsden from the Curve Group.
Kelly York from the Curve Group.
I'm David, and I've got a business called Business Coach Network.
Fantastic. I have to say, I've known David for a very long time. Over the years, we've been client, candidate, jolly good friend.
Dying to get him on the sofa.
Yes, dying to get him on the sofa. I'm very lucky in the men that I have on my sofa, I tell you. So, I mean, I guess I know you obviously very well, but tell us a bit about yourself, David.
Sure. I started my career in hospitality management, and along the way I transitioned into HR and ended up in my corporate career in a number of senior HR leadership roles in businesses, predominantly that were turnarounds, transformations, and leading to the sales of the business. So that was kind of my HR corporate
and
experience.
Globally, I think it's worth saying, isn't it?
Both in the UK and globally. And then I moved on. I used that experience and skills in my business now. And I kind of primarily come at it in two ways. I work with SMEs on strategic HR, fractional HRD services. And then I work with business owners, business leaders on their strategic growth. So I'll usually come in, help them to work on their 3 to 5 year strategic growth plan. And then once we've done that, we'll work on the implementation. I always come at it from a people perspective, through the people lens. My kind of mantra is, get the people right, get the leadership right, get the structure right, and pretty much everything else should fall into place from there.
I suspect your transformation skills are in high demand at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think what we sort of wanted to discuss a little bit today is because a lot of the market in the UK, and I accept that obviously you've been a global leader, but the business community that you're sort of supporting and helping at the moment, there is a flatline economy, isn't there? And that brings with it its same challenges. And I just thought it'd be interesting for us to sort of discuss what you see are the challenges and how you're sort of coaching people through that, and what the advice is and things like that, really.
Sure. I mean, I think it's fair to say that the UK economy has been kind of bumbling along a bit since COVID, really.
We had a huge spike, didn't we, of joyous
we had that
revenue,
boom,
and then
and now it's been pretty flat at best. Certainly the last 12 months, I've noticed, and I'm getting feedback from clients, the last quarter has seen some improvements, some green shoots, but who knows with the latest
long will that last?
what's going to happen there. What I'm usually, the three kind of things I normally focus on with clients who are struggling with the flat line economy and poor revenue, flat revenue, really is to focus on three key areas. And it comes back, it won't be any surprise. I mean, communication is always number one. What I find is that managers, leaders tend to communicate less when there's bad news to be shared, and actually they need to get into the opposite mode. They need to engage with their teams, get them involved, be very clear on the commercial challenges the business is facing, and get them very much involved in problem solving. Say 2 heads are better than one. Well, how about 20 heads or 50 heads or 100 heads helping you to resolve those issues? So treat people like adults. They've worked out what's going on, so let's get them inside the tent rather than outside the tent. All of that kind of stuff. And it always surprises me how business owners really struggle with this. They find they find that when times are tough, that's when they want to sort of retreat into their leadership.
And it's the antithesis of it, what you actually need to do, isn't it? Exactly. But easier said than done.
I know it's tough.
It's tough. You need coaches.
It's having that courage. Having that courage. So that's definitely number one. And then number two is really being very objective, going through the organization and looking at every role. Are we clear on purpose? Are there clear accountabilities, and is it aligned to the overall growth goals of the business, and if not, how do we enhance those roles?
And you were talking about holding people accountable as well as be making sure that their accountabilities are understood, but holding them accountable as well. You were saying, which is sometimes easier said than done, isn't it?
And how they contribute with their performance.
Yeah.
And I mean, getting back to just making sure people get good feedback on their performance, and have clear performance objectives. KPIs would be great.
That's a lot, David. That's a lot.
You've gone too far now.
That's definitely a key to improving efficiency and performance. And then last of all, having a plan. You'd be surprised how many business owners and teams that I'll go into, and they haven't got at least they haven't got a fresh strategic growth plan, a 3 to 5 year view on where their growth is, where they're going, and definitely not down to the 1 year plan. And I'll certainly work with them around getting clarity on that and taking it right down to quarterly. What do we need to do in the next 90 days? What's losing us money at the moment? How are we going to fix that in the next 90 days?
I think business is more short term at the moment as well, isn't it? You do need obviously your 3 year plan, but actually that 90-day sprint of getting things in order is really critical as well.
100%. And there's a tendency to be very reactive when times are tough, and try and put out the immediate fires, but be a bit more organised, a bit more strategic about it, and break it, as you said.
And remember the basics, because a lot of that stuff you're talking about is the basic way of running business, isn't it? And I think 100%. That goes out the window sometimes.
100%. Keep it simple.
And we're seeing a lot in the market, a lot more around the utilisation of fractional resources as well. Are you experiencing that with your clients?
Absolutely. For the flexibility and the less risk around cost, and it means that businesses are able to bring in the skills that they need for just specific challenges they have. So a lot more of that, a lot more interim work going on, and an outsourcing of certain tasks that might have been done internally
absolutely.
before. There's a lot of that going on.
Somebody said to me, where does fractional start and end? Where does outsource start and end? my slutty answer was basically wherever you want it to be. The reality is it's very, very helpful, isn't it? To be able to have this flexible resource, which kind of leads me on to sort of what you've seen around the recruitment side of things in this flatline economy.
Well, definitely fewer roles out there in the market. People are being much more cautious about opening up jobs for recruitment. 100%. You will have noticed, I'm sure, that a lot of people are trying to self-serve and go on to the digital platforms to do so. And of course, that has its benefits, but also has its inbuilt headaches with dealing with that. But without a doubt, less recruitment going on, much more selective, much more specific around the skills that are needed to coming back to this whole point around being clear about the roles you need in the organisation to take you forward.
And we're talking a lot more around the fact that actually the workforce demographic, the solution of workforce is changing because more contractors and temporary workers are being engaged as well, because the skill set you need now is very different to what you're going to need in 3 years. So actually utilising more temporary workers rather than permanent hiring is a big thing at the moment as well. I totally agree. And actually that labour pool is very, very fractured now. A lot of those people have moved into that way of working portfolio or doing several small pieces of work. Consulting work is there's far more people out there in the market who are doing that. And so they're out there selling their service into businesses. Absolutely.
I think the whole mix of skills as well, it allows you to bring in the talent that you need. I mean, the latest stat is that we've got 1 million graduates out of work at the moment. I think that's going to double very, very quickly. And there's no entry level roles, but the skills that are required now, you certainly, it's not like advertising in the old days, is it? And I know you've got quite some firm views on this, Kelly.
Absolutely. I think, and that's the thing. So to gain the right skill into the business is actually more challenging now. So although there's less vacancies, the skills that are required moving forwards are actually harder to find because there's less of them, because not many people are trained yet to the level that they need to be. And actually, us as, we deliver recruitment solutions, but I don't believe you pay us to advertise a role. I believe you pay us to go out to a market and search the widest reaching talent pool and provide you with the best candidate. And I think we've got ourselves kind of this branding that we advertise a role and we flicking applications, and that just simply isn't true. And then those that do that won't survive into the future. So I think that's really, really critical. But then on the flip side of that, I was thinking about your point around, a lot of businesses just advertise their own on social media, but actually that whole process management point and bad interviewing and bad responses to candidates and ignoring applications, that ruins the market as well. So there's a lot of thought on how recruitment's going to be done in the future.
Yeah, and the time taken to do all of that.
Of course,
it distracts from other crucial sort of business process. So there's I definitely agree with your model of being very specific about going out and looking for the skills that business needs. I think there's a lot of demand for that, a lot of room for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how are you helping organisations with their growth horizon then? How what do you think the future looks like, and how are you helping businesses with that?
So, I mean, it starts off with the plan. I'll work with the leadership team around what's the opportunity, what's the strengths of the business, and what opportunities are in the market, and we'll develop that into a growth plan. Once we've done that, and that'll include what resources they need from a people perspective. So if they've got the right organisation. What do they need to do to make sure that organisation is fit for the growth that they're looking for, and then we'll look at their market and what they're doing from a marketing and sales perspective, and specifically how they're going about differentiating their specific service and or product offering. Everybody knows that's an important thing to do, but a lot of organisations, well, they just struggle in actually really being clear about what the client, what their target client is, and what they're looking for, and how they differentiate or align their offering so that it's most attractive to the market they're looking for, and then we'll build that out into a 1-year plan. And then once we've got that plan together, I'll usually be getting involved with the business once, 1 or 2 days a month to come in and work around the 90-day planning model and
keep them on track.
Feet to
fire.
Coach them over the challenges, where they're struggling to execute, because the plan looks great, but it doesn't always just fall into place. So helping them through that, and as you quite rightly said, making sure that they're executing on it. And then from a people perspective, very often that will also involve acting as their HR lead, their fractional HRD, and that's very much around the talent they need, developing that talent, and making sure they've got the right framework in place to get the best out of their team.
So I think it's universally accepted that running a business at the moment is not easy. If you could give somebody one piece of advice that was running a business, other than, say, obviously appointing you as their executive on their exec team, right? But if there was one piece of advice that you could give, what would that be, David?
Well, I think without doubt it's to really take a critical look at the team, and make sure that everybody on the bus, or everybody in the bus is on the bus, for want of a better word. Has everybody got clear accountabilities? Has everybody, were we clear on roles, and is everybody contributing to the overall direction and growth of the business? Yeah,
wonderful. Gosh, we could talk about this all day, couldn't we? But there's so many topics that we could cover. But hopefully, like you've enjoyed David's insights. Very sound. Sometimes easier said than done, actually. So I think that's a lesson to all of us. And, thank you for joining us. Thank you at home for listening. If there are any insights that you are wanting to hear about on A Bit of Light Relief and give get our views on, put my teeth in, and get our views on, then please let us know. And thank you for listening.
Thank you.